and welcome to our podcast and another episode that I have for you. And you guys, I'm so excited because today we are diving into one of the most frustrating parts of fat loss, why it's not linear. That's what we're going to talk about today. You guys, you know the feeling, right? When you're doing absolutely everything right and the scale is just not moving down consistently. And then bam, it even stops or sometimes even jumps up overnight. And then you are just wondering like, what am I doing wrong? Raise your hand if you've been there. I've been there so many times. So I think that this episode is going to be super valuable for you if you're one of those people who keeps checking weight and stepping on the scale every single day, being frustrated. But you guys, here is the thing, right? Fat loss is never straight line. It's literally a zigzag, right? And if you don't understand this, it's easy to feel super discouraged even when you are making progress. So in this episode, I am breaking down why fat loss fluctuates, what is actually happening in your body, and how to stay focused on the big picture instead of letting the scale mess with your head. So let's get it. So first thing, let's start with where this expectations even comes from, right? Most people think that fat loss works like this. You are in a calorie deficit, right? So you every day should be losing a little bit of weight. That's what most people think. You step on the scale and it should go down consistently like straight line. Well, but here is the reality. Fat loss looks more like this messy stock market chart. Some days it's up, some days it's down, and sometimes it feels like it's completely stuck. And why we even think that this way, or why we think that the fat loss should be consistent, straight line down, and we should be losing every single day. I'll tell you why. Because a lot of programs and ads promise predictable results, like lose 2 pounds a week or drop 10 pounds in a month. But bodies don't work like math equation. How do I pronounce this word with my English? You know what I'm trying to say. They are influenced by so many things. This mindset, you guys, creates frustrations when the scale doesn't move the way we expect. But here is the good news, right? The fluctuations are normal and they don't mean that you're failing. So now let's talk about what is actually happening when the scale is like jumping up and down and it fluctuates. I want to break that down for you and so you understand that why the fat loss is not linear and why the scale can be so misleading. So number one to remember is water retention. Your body water weight can fluctuate by 1 to 5 pounds in a single freaking day, depending on things like eating more carbs or sodium than usual, right? Both cause your body to retain water. Another thing is hormonal changes, especially for women during their cycle. Stress, which increases hormone cortisol, and it make you hold on water. Now, I want to give you an example. You have, let's say, a pizza night with friends, right? And the next day, the scale is up 3 pounds. Is that fat? No, it's not fat. It's just the water retention from the carbs and sodium. Another thing you want to think about is also digestion timing, right? If you ate late night or are a little back up, the weight on the scale might just be the food sitting in your digestive system. It's not fat gain, you guys. It's just a timing. Muscle glycogen and exercise is a big one that most people don't even think about, right? When you work out super hard, your muscle stores glycogen along with water, which can temporarily make the scale go up. If you've experienced, which you probably have if you're working out, right? Sore muscles, they hold on to water as part of the repair process, and that's actually a good thing, right? This means that you are building muscle and getting stronger. Another thing is that fat loss truly happens in like waves, right? Even in a calorie deficit, you're sticking to the calorie deficit, your body doesn't burn fat at the same rate every single day. Think of it like this. Some days your body is breaking down fat. Other days it's repairing, holding on water, or just maintaining. And over time, it averages out, but day to day, it's super messy, you guys. So don't get caught up on the scale, right? Because it's gonna mess with your head. The big picture of fat loss is that you want to really remember that fat loss is about trends over time and not like day-to-day fluctuations. What you want to focus on is the scale trend. So what I mean by that is weigh yourself consistently, right? Like for myself, like I weigh myself every day because I'm okay with that. Like it doesn't stress me out. But if you're someone who's stressed because you step on the scale and the number just stresses you out, then maybe just do it once or twice a week, right? And then you want to look at a weekly or monthly trends instead of daily numbers. So an example, if you lose 2 pounds every 4 weeks, but your weight bounces up and down along the way, that's still progress. My great way to track my weight is using the app Happy Scale. I've shared it with you guys already a couple times. There is a membership, or I think it's like $9 or something. I can remember, maybe $19 a year. I can remember. But what that app does, that you track your weights there consistently, and it gives you average, like the trend over time, and it tells you where you're sitting on average, rather than just like today you weighted 172 and tomorrow you are 168, and now you're like, okay, well, how much do I actually weigh? So over time it will give you the average, and it's a great app to use. I've been using it for like maybe like a year or so, and I love it. So it calls Happy Scale. Now I want, and this is big, you guys, in our program, this is something that we really focus on with our clients, non-scale wins. Fat loss isn't just about the scale, right? And you want to pay attention to things like how your clothes is fitting, right? Is your energy levels increasing? Changes in measurements, your waist, your hips, your strength and fitness improving in the gym. Like, are you getting stronger? Like, do you feel like you are lifting heavier and heavier? Do you feel like you are overall just strong, right? Now the thing is also, guys, I know that most of you hate it and you say, I don't want to take photos of myself, but take those freaking damn pictures, right? Take progress photos every, let's say, 4 weeks. You don't have to take them weekly. Again, if it's stressing you out, you don't have to, but take them at least once a month. You will often see changes before the scale even shows them. You want to maybe also keep journal of how you're feeling, what's working, and any milestones along the way. Now, the question is how to stay consistent when the scale isn't moving, because I know that a lot of us, when we weigh ourselves and the scale goes up, you might freak out and you might just be like, okay, like, fuck it, I'm not gonna follow the plan, it's not working, because obviously seeing the scale up makes you think that what you're doing is not working, right? It is really mental, guys. It's like, I want to talk about the mental side of things, because when the scale stops or stalls, it's easy to panic, and it's very normal, and a lot of people quit, like I said, or think like, what's the point? But you just have to trust the process. When I say that, right, if you're in a calorie deficit, fat loss is for sure happening, even if the scale isn't showing it, right? At that certain moment, it means that you might not see the scale go down, but you probably are losing fat. If you are in a calorie deficit, your body is simply just working behind the scenes. You want to focus on certain habits that are super important, and that's why I've mentioned, like, if you are in a calorie deficit, you're losing fat. Are you hitting your macros or calorie goals? That's the habit number one. You always need to check and see, like, okay, I'm actually doing these two things. Are you staying active? Are you prioritizing sleep? Those habits are the foundation of progress. That's why if you are seeing the scale to go up, the first thing you want to do is just check with yourself and ask yourself these questions. Right? That's super important, because often you guys can be like, oh, I'm just not going to track this food. I'm not going to track these few nuts that I just had. Next thing you know, you're taking yourself out of the deficit without even knowing. So that's really important. Another thing is do not make any drastic changes. When the scale doesn't move, a lot of people drop their calories even lower or overdo it with cardio. How many of you have done it? Raise your hand, because I know you did. I know you. And that's not the answer. It's usually a matter of just being patient, and more drastic changes you make, like let's say you're gonna be like, I'm just gonna do more cardio, or I'm just gonna drop my calories even lower, it's going to backfire and bite you in your bum. I'm telling you that because it's not gonna be really sustainable. If you're already in a calorie deficit of like 500 calories, which is considered moderate deficit, then you don't wanna be lowering it more if the scale hasn't moved for a week, because next week the scale can drop 2 pounds. I'm telling you that, I know it from my own experience, from coaching clients. I'm telling you, just be patient. Learn how to celebrate wins. That's another big thing that I want to talk about, because with our clients in our check-in from when they work with us, there is the first question literally, what is your win for the week? Because we want to train your brain to see the wins in other areas, not just, oh, the scale went down. Yeah, it's amazing win, but there's just so many that comes to weight loss / fat loss, right? Like I said before, like, do you feel stronger? Do you feel less bloated? Are you sleeping better? Those are wins, and they matter just as much as number on the scale. So guys, let's wrap this up. Remember that fat loss is not supposed to be linear. It's normal to have fluctuations or even plateaus, and even days where the scale just goes up, which is frustrating, I know, but it is part of the process. And it doesn't mean that you're failing. It means that you're a human and your body does what is doing what it does the best, really. And here is what I want you to take away from today. Fat loss happens in waves, not a straight line. The scale is not just one tool, and non-scale victories, you want to celebrate the non-scale victories and let go of the idea that progress has to be perfect. Look at the bigger picture, right? Not day-to-day changes. Upload or download the app Happy Scale and use it to track your data and see how you feel over time, because it's an amazing tool. Once you download it and use it, you're gonna know that it's just great. The key, just remember, the key to long-term success is staying consistent even when the scale is just not really cooperating. It's not doing what you want it to do. Trust the process, stay patient, and remember, it's not about perfection. It's about the progress over time. You guys, no one is perfect, right? And I hate when someone present themselves as like, oh, I'm perfect, I always do this, I never fail. That's bullshit, because unless you're a competitor who's getting ready for a show, you just not or shouldn't be thinking that you have to be perfect, because if that's what you're thinking, you're gonna be feeling like you fail every time you go slightly over your macros or you miss your step goal. And that's not a part of this, or it's not what you should be doing and focusing if you're creating a healthy lifestyle, because there are going to be days when you're just going to have days when you're going to go over macros, because that's what makes you a human. Like, it's normal. I do it too. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If this episode helped you to shift your mindset about fat loss, share it with someone else who needs to hear that. And as always, keep going. You are doing amazing. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.